Elon Musk has promised that there will be more smoke. And who's telling it to us? Emily Capano. Oh, yeah.
Now, we begin with the Elon Musk promising more smoking guns on the way after he and journalist Matt Taibbi released a bombshell report on political censorship at Twitter and suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story ahead of the 2020 presidential election. Taibbi making the revelations in a lengthy Twitter thread on Friday, writing that Twitter's posts and users were routinely removed at the request of both political parties, noting that Democrats held far more clout on that front due to the political leanings of staff. He also revealed internal communications that showed Twitter justified the decision to suppress the laptop story using its hacked materials policy. But Taibbi says that reasoning is flawed.
From here on out, I will not point out Emily Campano's beauty or anything. I don't want to offend anybody. There's some people that probably was offended by me always saying that she's a cutie pie and all this other stuff. I will not do that anymore. All right? All right. I might. Just not as much. All right?
Stating this policy is normally required an official law enforcement finding of a hack. But such a finding never appears throughout what one executive describes as a whirlwind 24-hour company-wide mess. And according to Taibbi, that led the social media platform to take some rather surprising action. He says Twitter took extraordinary steps to suppress the story, removing links and posting warnings that it may be, quote, unsafe.
Wow.
They even blocked its transmission via direct message, a tool hitherto reserved for extreme cases, e.g. child pornography.
What? They even blocked this transmission via direct message, a tool, what's that say? Hitherto reserved for extreme cases like child pornography. So they put it in that same bag so nobody bothers it. Like, we're going to put it way over there. We're going to put it in this folder. Nobody bothers that folder. That's where we're going to keep it. No one will look for it. And if they post it, then it's similar to posting child pornography, and they will be banned. Wow. If I said that wrong, feel free to correct me.
During a Saturday question and answer session, Musk was asked directly about the mainstream media largely ignoring these Twitter revelations.
Clearly, if Twitter is doing one team's bidding before an election, shutting down dissenting voices on a pivotal election, that is the very definition of election interference.
Yep.
I mean, what the hell else would you? Of course, it's like, yes.
Yep, that is true. If you have a company as big as Twitter that influences people to go out there and vote for certain people, and they're heavy leaning on one side, that is influencing the election. Is rigging it, essentially.
And yet, Brian, the attack seems to me squarely faced on the messenger instead of the explosive revelations the messenger.
This was a fascinating weekend, let's be clear. If you're a journalist, you should love this. And journalists around the country said, not a big deal, just a nothing burger kind of story here. But if you look at what they found was a Twitter that looks a lot like FTX. Everybody was making it up as they went. They were inventing policy, stretching policy. You know what I love about this? Elon Musk is reinventing the game. He is saying we are going to be radically transparent, and I challenge the rest of you to keep up with that. I love that. I think he's going to actually outcompete people with this. But the other thing to keep in mind here is we haven't gotten answers on the FBI story.
Later, Mooseville 6969. Enjoy your day, bro.
What's going on with the FBI here? That piece of the puzzle really wasn't revealed with what we got over the weekend. That is the central issue we've got to figure out, because they were tipping Twitter off to specifics in this story, including Hunter Biden. That means something. We need to know more about that.
Right, and on that note, Martha, as Miranda Devine was reporting, the FBI alerted Twitter to potential political operatives hacking and releasing content, cited the Hunter laptop scenario. But was it Twitter that twisted and ran with it, led to a handled mentality of any request they would just honor in that moment? Oh, must be this, must be this. It begs the question as well, does it matter? Because if the American people had known the content, wouldn't that have changed their decision anyway?
Yes, it does matter. It does matter.
Potentially. You know, I think it says a lot about what Twitter is, right? We know it is not a town square. It is not a place, and we know this very clearly from everything that's been revealed of the inner workings at this company. They made decisions about what worked, what didn't work, what they wanted to sit on, what they wanted to amplify. So they are not an open town square forum. And I think that's why Elon Musk says he wants to get all this dirty laundry out there, because he said, I want to start from square one. I want to recreate this company in a way that makes it an open town forum. The New York Post had reported this story. The New York Post wanted to tweet that story and share it with people. Okay, the New York Post is a journalism organization. You can say, you know, what you think about the articles they print or whether or not you agree with everything they say, but it's a journalistic organization. It is not Twitter's job. That's what, as I said before, this is what the comments are for on Twitter. Right. So if someone disagrees with what the New York Post found, or they think it's slanted, or they think it's inaccurate, then they get to weigh in through all of this back and forth. That's what Twitter's supposed to be. I would also point out, it made me think about the 2000 election, because in November of 2000, the early days of November of 2000, there was a story that came out that that George W. Bush had gotten a DWI in Maine in 1976. It came out through a regional media outlet, and then Fox decided, you know what, this is a story, okay? It's going to go out. And Fox reported it. And then other places started to pick it up. It was obviously a story that could have affected people's thinkings right before the election, but it was because this is, at its base, a journalist organization. We could not avoid that story. We put that story out. So Twitter, what are you? You know, are you a town square? If you are, you have to say, we allow if a newspaper wants to post something, we're going to allow them to post it, and let the town square decide whether or not they think it's valuable.
Wow, that's a good point right there. That's a good point. I like the point she made.
The irony that I see, too, is that, you know, the protection that these social media platforms have enjoyed and continue to enjoy, safe from all liability, from the horrific content many people do post, is because they don't interfere with the content, right? They just host it. That's the argument that the courts have upheld.
And they know they all have egg on their faces now, because that's not what they do. And Zuckerberg also told us that's not what they do.
That's exactly right. And we're seeing it play out in real time, Amy. And we're also seeing the depth of that toxicity in the cesspool, because now it's being used yet again to attack the journalists and calling them red pill takers and worse, simply for reporting and daring to report the truth.
You know, one thing that I will say, no, I do always comment about how beautiful Emily Compagno is. Something I never comment on is how great of a journalist she is. The way that she holds it down, the way that she brings other people into the conversation. She don't just ask a question. She gives her opinion of the last question that was answered, and then she gives more information, and she smoothly sends it over to the next person to speak in the circle. That right there is extremely difficult to do, especially when you're speaking about things of substance. So she's really good with interviews. She's remarkable with interviews. Now, I will say also, I believe that, Elon Musk has his own things that he want to do. He has his own agendas. But when you look at these platforms and how they're, you know, putting information out there, you know, he's really balanced at the point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the bottom line here is it's got to be about free speech. Everybody has to have their opinion, and we should, as Americans, be able to look at whatever's put out there and decide for ourselves. No other agency is supposed to filter what we're looking for in public forums, but I totally agree with Brian that this is an opportunity for business. Elon Musk is going to do something that's fair for everyone, and he has to, because in America, Twitter users are 1 in 4 adults. Not everybody's using Twitter. In fact, we think everyone's using Twitter because we put it on TV all the time. Most people are lurkers, like looking for what's on social media. But it's actually an opportunity for business, and if Elon Musk does the right thing and keeps it open, guess what? He's going to get new users and people who want to talk freely.
Right, that might be refreshing. And to Amy's point, 90% of the content put out on Twitter is by 10% of the users. But it's had a direct effect. Frankly, we've seen, for example, the Democrat Party and lawmakers capitulate to this very loud, very minute segment of the population. And now we are seeing it being furthered. I wonder, once the dirty laundry is aired in this, will the wash actually come out clean?
Well, the data dump is going to be fascinating. And Elon Musk has said there will be a data dump. He chose Matt Taibbi and another colleague because he wanted to get the story out clean without having having a million stories out there. And I actually see his point. I would never bet against Elon Musk. I think he's making the right choice. At the same time, Martha, to your point about journalism and letting the story get out there and play, we have not seen the mainstream media really cover this story. The Wall Street Journal actually said, at the time we examined those messages, Kimberly Strassel at the Wall Street Journal spoke with Tony Bobulinski, put it all on the record, all before the election. So the story was out there. Twitter was just amplifying, put it out in the town hall, the town square. The other point I think is going to be interesting as we see this play out. Remember, Twitter was a publicly traded company at the time that this all happened. What happens to all of those shareholders that a lot of them lost money, rightly so, in the whole takeover from Elon Musk from start to finish? Do they have a voice in this? Is it right for a corporation, a publicly traded corporation, to be in the box saying, well, here's a winner and here's a loser? Democrats, you're going to win. Republicans, you're going to lose. That's exactly what the staff was doing. Elon Musk says, look, it's a San Francisco company. Let's be clear here. They were pulling the strings, and they, I think, penalized, wrongly so, those at the New York Post, and also they penalized those at the Wall Street Journal. And here, we were talking about this on our networks, both of our networks, before the election of 2020. Let's be honest here.
What's so interesting is there were internal voices at Twitter saying this doesn't hold up.
Right.
This doesn't meet our hacked policy. We can't do this. And yet the decision by the not Jack Dorsey level, but just below it said, oh, no, we can do it. Yeah. We can do this.
Well, that's why. Don't forget what you said about handled. To me, that's one of the most significant, and it goes back to what you were saying, Brian, that, the FBI was having weekly meetings with Twitter. So it's not just Twitter's integrity, it's who they were listening to. Yes. And at these weekly meetings, they were getting these emails, oh, this in from the Biden folks, right? And there's a list of links, and it says, please look into these, and then it says handled.
Yeah. And Mark Zuckerberg's admitted that too, Martha.
Yes, he has.
Later, squishy.
Same thing.
Everything you guys just articulated, by the way, is laying out the foundation for a perfectly set lawsuit. Because you're right that the corporation owes a fiduciary and legal duty to the shareholders. And that paper trail of absolutely just answering mostly to the left, skewing with political and for political results, I don't know how they're going to get out of that.
Messy.
She does sound like a lawyer. She sounds like a lawyer. I think somebody said before that she studied law or something like that.
Shares
very messy.
That's right. All right, stay tuned. We will bring you every development as it occurs. Hey.
Yeah, she's awesome, and the team spoke some real stuff, man. What y'all think about that? Or she is a lawyer. Wow. I'm so damn lazy. I am so lazy, man. Wow. Van, step your game up, bro. If you want to be great, go and be great. Okay? Go do it. Stop being so daggone lazy. You got this. But yeah, what y'all thought about that one, man? Huh? I know some people have something to say about fair and what's not fair. Like my man Joe Bizzle has an issue with Elon Musk banning Ye after a picture. But, people are making good points in here. It was, we're going to all look at it from our own periphery, our own perspective. And we'll decide on the actual situation the way we believe it to look. But what do you guys think? Man, y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments, all right?